this is page 72 because the Pythagorean theorem partner sheet was 71. We are getting into trig. Hold on one second. Before we start the actual trig functions, I need you to be experts at labeling a triangle based on a given angle. There's a couple of things on here. If you look at, it says find hypotenuse, opposite, and adjacent sides from the given triangles. There's a symbol on here that you've never seen before. It's this, what looks like a slanted zero. I want you to copy it right here. It is a little slanted zero, but then it has a horizontal line through it. It is an actual letter from the Greek alphabet. It stands for the word theta. Don't let that word bog you down. Y'all, it is a fancy X. That's all it is. It is a fancy X. Okay? I need you from each triangle to draw your arrow from the right angle to the hypotenuse, because that is always the hypotenuse, every time. The longest side is opposite of the right angle. Then I want you to put an asterisk, a star, on the acute angle that has theta, because now you're going to position yourself from that corner and you're going to answer two questions. What's the opposite side? What's the adjacent side? It is always easier to label the opposite first from that little acute angle because it's going to be the one farthest away. Do you see how 3 is the farthest away, not touching the star angle? And then that leaves what right here? The 4, which is touching it, which is why it's called adjacent. So I would label the adjacent side last because it's going to be the one left over. So our opposite is 3 and our adjacent is 4. Told you. Please practice those 4, and within just a few minutes of that, I should be right back. So the first thing you label is the hypotenuse because it never changes. Every time the hypotenuse is in a triangle, it falls opposite of the right angle. Once you label the hypotenuse, that leaves 2 sides to label, and this is where most people get confused. Focus your attention from the angle marked with theta, fancy X. Focus your attention from that angle, and then ask yourself, what's the farthest side away from it left? And that would be, it helps to label that as you go. All right, so what's the farthest from theta? Not touching it. 2. So that's your opposite, which means by default, your adjacent is the only one left. Okay? 2 is opposite, adjacent is 1. Does that make sense? You have to master labeling opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse in order to do trig functions. Okay? So if we look at this one, find the right angle, go to the side farthest away. That's your hypotenuse. Then go to theta, put an asterisk to help you draw your attention from it. What's the side farthest away? 5. So that's opposite. And then that leaves 12 to be adjacent. Staying with me? Okay, on this one, right angle, side farthest away is the hypotenuse. Go to the angle that's marked theta. What's the side opposite of theta? 7. And then what's the side adjacent to theta? 24.